Hi everyone, I'm Phil. Welcome back to the channel where we learn to play the music we love. In this video, I'm going to update a recent video that I put out looking at the technique that Mark Knopfler uses in the song Communique. Although the video was mainly about technique, a number of viewers have been in touch to point out that I wasn't actually playing the right notes in the main riff for the song. I was playing an open G where there shouldn't be one, and so to Pablo, Richard and not Mark Knopfler, as the YouTube name goes, I don't know your real name, I wanted to say a massive thank you. You're absolutely 100% right. It's funny that priding myself as I do on listening, studying, researching how to play these songs, even after more than 40 years, it's clearly possible to miss something and also possible to learn something new. So I really mean it when I say thank you for being in touch. That's what it's all about. What it's made me do is go back and listen again to Communicate in the context of the feedback. And I think it's given me a greater appreciation of the song. It wasn't really a favourite Knopfler song of mine, but I've got a new appreciation of it. I've also learned something new about the song that I'll share in the video. Okay, let's start slowly with the neck. What I won't do is show you how I was doing it wrong. There's a video on that where you can see that I was doing it wrong, and there's no point teaching you the wrong version now. But thanks to the feedback from the viewers, I agree that this is now the correct version. This is exactly how it should sound. So, bar and A. That can be quite a stretch to start with. Do try and work on that little finger, that pinky, if you're over the pond. Do try and work on using that. It'll feel, if you're not used to using it, it'll feel weak and weird to start with. But do try and persevere. It'll really pay off in the long run. Actually, this song, this riff, is a really good exercise for strengthening that little finger. So watch again. You'll see me hammering on. I think there's an argument with this one to actually pluck that on occasion. I think with this one you can alternate. I think that's what Mark Knopfler does in reality, and I'm almost certain it would be what he would do live, although it's very hard. In fact, I found it impossible to find a live recording for this one on the good old YouTube or the internet anywhere. So sometimes hammer on, sometimes pluck. Let me show you what I mean. So that's the main riff. I think it's really important to try and persevere with that little finger. Up until very recently, up until I'd put that video out and got some comments, I'd never tried that. And I'm not a great user of my little finger, to be honest with you. It's easier not to because your other fingers are clearly much stronger. I'm not trained as a guitarist. I'm self-taught, as many of us will be. And as I think Mark Knopfler probably was. So I think that's a good thing in many ways, because some of the bad habits that guitarists pick up, so-called bad habits, quote unquote, they turn into distinctive style. So I don't think that's a bad thing. But do try and use that little finger. I think you'll get a much more authentic sound. I'll go full screen on the picking hand so that you can see that technique that Mark Knopfler uses. I call this a frailing technique. It's where the nails on the... Hang on, let me see if I can get that on camera. It's where the nails of the first two fingers are actually brushing down on the strings, and then the strings are then stopped by the pads of the fingers, like this. Quite a weird technique. It'll feel very strange if you're not used to doing that. But do try it again and persevere with that. Here's a little exercise you can do just with that just with that A chord barred. So it's pluck with your thumb, up with the index and the middle fingers on the D and the G string, and then immediately down with the backs of your nails and stopping the strings with your pads. You can go really slowly on that and build up speed gradually like this. Let's have a look now at the verse and the chorus. Chords are fairly straightforward, so let's dive in. I'll go first onto the neck and we'll take it from there. So out of the main riff, we go to a B minor. B minor, A and G in quick succession. So that's the verse, really very straightforward. Let's move now to the chorus. That's the part where he sings, communicating though he's going to come clean, thinks what he says what he means, that part. It was playing this again that made me be absolutely 100% convinced that this is a standard tuning, no capos, no drop tunings, no nothing. And I'll show you why. So the chords just very slowly are... Think what he say what he mean. Maybe on Monday. Communication, communique. Then finish on a B minor, communique. And then you're back into the main riff. In the later part of the song where he gets to the end of that chorus, he plays that B minor and he does a weird kind of... That's the B minor chord with the B string and the G string fingers taken off, so you're ending up with the bar. Let me show you that. The bar and just this one finger, the ring finger. Then he goes back into the riff. Let me show you in the chorus now the part that absolutely convinced me that this was in just normal, everyday kind of standard tuning, no capos, no drop tunings. If you remember earlier on in the video, I talked about listening in headphones and the main guitar part, the one that comes out of the riff at the start of the song, that's in your right ear. If you listen in your right ear on this one, he does a beautiful slide up on the G string to the B string and then plays that D with an F sharp bass, the E minor 7, D F sharp bass, G. And he does that slide up several times. Let me show you what I mean. Now on the record or the CD, I've not been able to hear clearly that he's playing this bottom E string on the guitar. It just feels for a guitarist like it would be absolutely natural for him to play that. It's pretty standard kind of finger work. And I think looking at Mark Knopfler's style over the years, I think he probably does play that bottom E string in part of this riff. Let me show you what I mean. So he starts. And then moves down with this index finger to that F sharp bass. You could play without. I think it's more natural as a guitarist, though, to play that slide, and it has to be a slide. If you listen carefully on the record, this has to be a slide, so there's no real way. There's no real way of, or there's no way that I've found. Could do that, I suppose. Quite difficult to do, as you can see, so making that sound like a slide, really quite difficult to do, I think. So that's with a slide. That's very hard to do, and I'm not even sure that Mark Knopfler himself would do that. He has a very economical and languid and relaxed way of playing. So I don't think he would make it that difficult for himself, especially when there's 2 or 3 other guitar parts and the bass and the drums and some piano on this particular song and keyboards elsewhere in his music. So I think he does that initial slide without the benefit of the bass string, like this. Communique. If you're enjoying the video and getting something out of it that you can use in your playing, please consider clicking the like button and maybe even subscribing. It helps massively. Thank you. Just want to share one other little tip with you. I'll go close in on the picking hand for this one so that I can explain it. Okay, so I've got my A chord shaped on the neck, and normally what I would do is I would just rest my little finger on the top E string until it needed to do something. That naturally has the impact of muting the string. But on the record for Communique, you don't actually hear the C sharp of the A chord. That one. You don't actually hear that one being played. So either he's not playing it, which I think is very difficult not at some point to just even brush it, or he's got his little finger muting that B string. So you can start the riff with the little finger of your picking hand muting that B string. Let me show you both and you can listen to the way they sound, because it's really hard not to brush that B string. So I'll do it first without the B string being muted and next with the B string being muted, and see if I can get away with not plucking or at least brushing that B string. Here we go. So that was without me muting the B string. I heard 1 or 2 little brushes of that of the B string, even without, I was trying very hard not to. So let me now move my little finger to mute the B string. Let's try that one. So on the second one, I suppose, as you'd expect, there was none of that C sharp being played in that A chord. So just something to try. One little tip that I've learned as part of the research for redoing the video. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks again to those viewers who've been in touch. It's great to know that you're out there and that you care passionately about the music as I do. So until next time, happy practicing and bye for now.